right, we want to talk about how to increase the absorption of vitamin D. It's not just a matter of just taking more vitamin D or just getting a little sun. And there's other things that you can do to increase the absorption, because vitamin D can greatly help with inflammation, with your mood, with insomnia, with sleep apnea, okay, and autoimmune type of conditions and skin issues. Now, one really simple thing you can do is press on your breastbone, this bone right here, the sternum, and see if there's any tenderness in there. There shouldn't be any tenderness in that bone, okay? And then you can press on your shin, which is in the front part of your lower leg. And if there's pain, like bone pain, that could be a vitamin D deficiency. One really interesting thing I used to do in my clinic is I would have people test for that and then have them take some vitamin D3 and wait for 30 minutes. That pain is just gone, completely gone. So you might want to try that. It's just a real simple way to see if you have a pretty good vitamin D deficiency, because one of the big symptoms is bone pain. Not just necessarily hip pain, but when you press on the bone, it hurts. So vitamin D is an anti-inflammatory. First thing is, are you getting enough sun? Get outside, expose your body more to the sun. If you have a mutation or a genetic issue, which a lot of people have and they don't know it, there's some testing that you can get done on that. You just need to take more vitamin D to create the effect, because the vitamin D receptor is blocked, and so the vitamin D doesn't absorb that well. But you can overcome that with higher amounts. I did create a video to talk about, if you're taking high dosages of vitamin D, what other things you must do to prevent other problems, like with hypercalcemia, higher calcium in the blood. There's a whole series of things you can do. I created a video on that. I'll put a link down below. But it might be a good thing to watch that. Just because you want to take vitamin K2, you may not want to take calcium like dairy when you're taking the vitamin D, because we don't want to increase more calcium in the blood if we're doing this type of therapy. But zinc helps the absorption of vitamin D. Vitamin A is really important in vitamin D. And this is why cod liver is so important, because cod liver has a nice balance, 50-50 of vitamin A and vitamin D, with omega-3, which also helps you absorb vitamin D. So cod liver oil has vitamin D, vitamin A, the two versions of omega-3, DHA and EPA. So it's really, they all work together. Magnesium helps you in the absorption of vitamin D. It also will help regulate calcium as well. Vitamin D also can help absorb more magnesium as well, not just calcium in the small intestine. Vitamin D is made from cholesterol. So if you go on a low cholesterol diet or a low fat diet, you could starve off the raw material to make vitamin D, or even give you vitamin D. So the cholesterol is in your skin, and your body then can convert it from the sun. So we don't want to lower cholesterol. And by the way, there's certain drugs that actually block vitamin D, and statin would be one of them, because statin blocks cholesterol. So your vitamin D levels plummet. Well, guess what you're going to get? Inflammation and pain. One of the big side effects from statin is muscle pain. Probably because also you're starving off the cholesterol to make steroid hormones too, and the muscles kind of go downhill. When you take vitamin D, you should take it while you're eating some fat, because it'll be absorbed a little bit better, because it's a fat-soluble vitamin. If you lower your stress, you'll increase the absorption of vitamin D, because high stress blocks vitamin D. Probiotics are important because they help to recycle the bile that's stored in the gallbladder. 95% of all the bile is recycled over and over and over again. So it's a very efficient system, and you need the bile to extract vitamin D from the food that you're eating. All right, bile salts. Taking bile salts when you're eating certain fats will help the extraction of vitamin D from your food. Intense exercise can help increase the absorption of vitamin D. Boron, which is a trace mineral, can help vitamin D and help your bone formation. It also is good for increasing testosterone. Vitamin K2 is really important with D3, because they both work together in the balancing out of calcium. If you don't have enough K2, the calcium tends to settle into the wrong places, the soft tissue, like the arteries. Vitamin D doesn't tell the calcium to go anywhere. It just increases it in the blood. And by the way, it will lower your blood pressure too. But if you take K2, we'll take all that extra calcium and drive it into the bone where it should be and take it out of the joints and put it into the bone. But K2 is also really, really important in improving your endurance when you exercise. So it helps the output of energy from the mitochondria. Anyway, here's a summary of things you can do to increase the absorption of vitamin D. I'll see you in the next video. So if you're enjoying this content, go ahead and share it with someone that could really benefit from it.